Hi everyone, and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul, and today we're going to be looking at add-ons and accessories for your home computer. Now, add-ons and accessories aren't necessarily peripherals like a printer that you would have outside of your computer. These are actually items that you would add on to your case, either the outside or the inside, that might add a little bit of extra convenience. In some cases might increase your performance, and in other cases are just aesthetic improvements that may make your case a little bit more tailored to your personal tastes. So over here on my right side we have a big stack of items that all go into external drive bays. So 5¼ inch bays, maybe the floppy bays, these items all fit in there. Right here we have a bunch of fans, and I'm going to go over all the different shapes and sizes of those. These are just a couple items that actually do live outside the case, but they're just sort of some unique items I wanted to include. And then over here we have items that all will go on the interior of the case. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to start out with some drive bay add-on accessories. These are all right here, and to test these out I have a Corsair 750 watt power supply and this Zalman MS1000 HS2 case. So I got to get this out of the box first though. Alright guys, so we're going to start out with drive bay adapters and accessories. So the drive bays are right here at the front of your case, and most people buy a case, they usually have one optical drive in it, maybe two, and you usually end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes even more of these bays that are pretty much just open there, not being used. What can we do with those open bays and that empty, unused space in your computer? Well, you can go with something really simple, and I'm going to start out with simple and move on to more complex stuff. This is called a comma cabinet. This is made by Scythe, and this is about the simplest and easiest item that you could pop into one of those bays, because all it is a drawer. The drawer itself has a little bit of foaminess in there, and then it comes with these little separators, so slide them in. You can separate your drawer. It's got a little bit of foam, a little bit of padding there at the bottom to keep, imagine to keep screws and stuff from rattling, because that's probably what you would store in here. And now you have a drawer in your computer. Alright, next up are these. These are smaller add-ons, and these are for the floppy bay, the 3½ inch one right up there. First of all, is probably one of the more useful items that you can do with that. This is, it's actually a floppy drive, but it includes a multi-card reader as well. So lots of different, different memory card adapters for the front of that. That's all connected via the back via a single USB header that connects to your motherboard. Also has a floppy ribbon cable there, so you can actually use the floppy disk drive that's there on the front as well. So this is also made by Scythe, and this is very handy if you have, let's say, an older case and you don't have the convenient front panel connectors that a lot of newer cases come with. Again, this one is made to fit in your 3½ inch drive bay. It's pretty simple, just a front header like that. Looks like you have a couple fan controllers on here. There's also 4 USB ports, a mic and headphone, and the convenient serial ATA port. All those connect to the various plugs and adapters here at the back, and then that unit, and it would look just like that. So mounts in there, pretty clean. It's got a black finish on it, a little bit of brushed metal, and then you can control a couple fans. And you know, a lot of cases like our case here from Zalman do have these up in the front by default, like this one here. But if you don't have those, or if you just want a few more, for example, if you have onboard sound that you want to route to one of those, and then you have a sound card, you can route it to another. With an operating system like Windows 7, you could run both of those, have a couple different audio devices. We have a couple fan controllers. These are larger, they fit in 5¼ inch bays. This one is made by Zalman, just like our case here, and that's a pretty simple one. Uses knobs and it has a couple little lights. This one's a little bit fancier. This one is also made by Scythe, and this is an actual digital readout for your fans. So you plug that in. So our little LCD here in the front has lit up. Once again, our fan is spinning. This actually wants to move all by itself. And I believe I'm connected to fan number 6. That's this one over here. It's a full power. There, I turned it down a little bit. Oh, I can actually turn that fan completely off by turning that all the way down. And it indicates off there. And then here it actually will show me the RPMs of whatever fan I'm controlling there. So as I spin it up, it's going 660, 780, and it also has a temperature readout there, and watch out for the fans. For the temperature, you have included all these little sensors. So you can actually place these wherever you want to around your case. It's got a little lead, plug that in, place the sensor where you want it, and then you can monitor the temperatures throughout your case. Alright, so moving on to the last items in this category. These are called backplanes in general, and what these are made to do is actually store a hard drive in one of your bays up here, but it's also made to be a swappable port. So what you do is you run cables from your motherboard and a power cable from your power supply up to this backplane. Then you can slot a drive into the adapter, and you can just pop it in, pop it out. It's actually the same thing that this Zalman case has right on the front here, which are hot swappable drive bays. So you mount the drive in there and it pops in and out, but again, not all cases have this particular feature. And if you're like me, you do a lot of hard drive swapping, I can't tell you how convenient this is, because especially if you have a new motherboard with the serial ATA ports that are right there and they're underneath, say, your video card, you can't really get to them. So plug those all in once, plug them into your front bays, and then you're all set for whatever drives you might need to swap out. So first, let's take a look at this smaller one. This one's made for 2.5-inch drives, which would be your notebook hard drives or your SSDs. The SSD then bolts on at the bottom here. So once that's in, those serial ATA plugs on the SSD have plugged in, and then these, which should all be already be installed in your system and plugged in, are connected to your motherboard. And then you have a hot swap bay. So here's a 2.5-inch mobile backplane. So there on the front of the unit, you see the 4 quick release bays. Those pop out just like that. The SSD or notebook hard drive mounts in there, and that slides in. And there it is installed there. Now you have 4 more slots for 2.5-inch drives there in your 5.25-inch bay. All right, next item on the list, yet another backplane. This is just another example of one of the solutions you can have. This is made for full-size hard drives, 3.5-inch hard drives. So this is a single enclosure, and this takes up 2 of your 5.25-inch bays. Fortunately, I don't have space to pop it in right now, but you can sort of imagine. So next up on our list of add-ons and accessories is case fans. And there's a couple different reasons why you might want to add or get a new case fan or replace the ones that you already have. So first off, let's just go over the various different specs that they have for fans. So first is size, and as you can see, we have a very wide range here. These are pretty standard sizes: 60 millimeter, 80 millimeter, 92 millimeter, 120 millimeter, which is probably the most prevalent one right now. Also, we're getting up to some 140 millimeters. And then we also have this big old 200 millimeter fan over here, and they also have 230s available now, which are just really big fans. So apart from size, there's also a couple other things that you'll want to pay attention to. Usually they are listed with what's called CFM, which is cubic feet per minute, and that's just a rate of airflow that they will, the fan can generally produce. Often they will list their RPMs. Lower RPM will be less air moving through, but also less sound. If you have higher RPMs, it's going to move more air, but your fan's going to be louder. Often it will list the dBA, which is just your decibel level of how much sound output the fan will get. And then it also tells you what type of power it takes and generally what type of connector. For connectors, you'll have 2-pin, 3-pin, and 4-pin for fans. Usually 4 pins are only for CPU fans. Alright, also in the 120 millimeter category, we have special extra thick fans here, 3000 RPM. This is made by Scythe. I could probably take it out of the little bag. So 3000 RPM, 38 millimeter thickness. So if you need a thicker fan, and to be perfectly honest, I don't know why you might need a thicker fan, but maybe that's the width that your case supports. Or maybe someone can post in the comments and explain why would I want a thicker fan. So this is also a 120 millimeter fan, and it's just really thin, so you could fit it in a slot in your case that you might not otherwise be able to fit a normal size 120 millimeter fan. Alright, moving on to our larger fans. These are from Cooler Master. This is a 140, just slightly bigger than the 120s that we've already seen. And then finally I wanted to highlight, this is a 200 millimeter fan, and as you can tell, this thing is pretty massive. But if your case can support a fan this size, these have become my favorite fans, just really, really big ones. Reason being, they can spin really slow, but they still move a lot of air through. So really, when you get these fans plugged in and you run them, you can put your ear right next to them, you can barely hear any sound at all, but you still have really, really good airflow just because of the size of the fan itself. All right, so we're down to the last few items on our list. When we were originally brought all of the products that we had to possibly include in this video, these are just a couple. They actually exist outside the case, so maybe they don't quite fit in as well, but they did stand out a bit to me, so I wanted to show them to everyone. This is another fan controller, and this is made by NZXT, and it's called a Sentry LXE, and it is touchscreen. So it's a fan controller, kind of like the ones that you saw me install in the 5 1/4 inch bays there. And it's just got a nice little touchscreen on there and a display for all of your fan controls, readouts, and it's a pretty cool device. Another product that we saw, again, this is a product that lives outside the computer. This is a USB triple foot switch, and I saw we actually have a double switch and a single switch available. And really all this is an extra buttons. Pretty simple, straightforward design. Each of these are just little foot pedals, sits on the floor. Nice long USB cable to plug that in, and it comes with software, so you can install that and assign your different foot pedals to the different keystrokes that you want them to correspond with. So we have a few different items here as examples of internal upgrades. Again, stuff that you don't have to have. Computer will be fine without them, generally speaking, but these can, specifically with these coolers here, can provide performance increases. So this is a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Plus. This is one of the most popular CPU heatsink fans that are out there. It's got direct heat pipe contact with the CPU. Great performance, also very reasonably priced product here. That is would be a great solution to swap out your stock heatsink fan with. It can lower your CPU temperature, so you can overclock if you want, or it can just provide a much quieter cooling solution than the stock heatsink fans that come with most Intel and AMD CPUs. Next, we have a Zalman. This is a VGA cooler, so if you have a video card, especially if you have one of the more heat-generating video cards where the fan has to spin up a lot and get very loud while you're gaming, this is an add-on card. So you would actually dissect your current stock cooler for your from your video card. You can install this on top. This one has twin fans. Again, I unfortunately don't have time to install this and do a full review, but from what I've read, it does lower the temperatures for your GPU, and it's also a lot quieter than most of these stock GPU cooling solutions that most of those ship with. All right, last but not least, a few little items here. All right, so other empty slots in your computer might be your PCI base here at the back. Let me just get that over there so you can see those. So you'll probably have a video card installed here and populating one of those. Maybe you'll have a network card, maybe a sound card, but usually you end up with 2, 3, or 4 of these that are open, and usually they line up with the different slots on your computer themselves. So a couple different items for this. This one's pretty basic, pretty bare bones, but this is made by Scythe as well. This is a slot Rafter. So you can mount 2 80mm fans on the bottom to provide more air movement through the case, and then you can have a couple mounts there for 2.5-inch drives on the top. So more drive mounting solutions there. Here's another product that is similar, also by Scythe. This is called the Kama Stay. All right, so this one comes with one of their slim 120mm fans already mounted onto it. This mounts to your PCI slot in the back. It's a pretty big card, so bear in mind if you do look for something like this, you will need plenty of space. And finally, these are case mods. These are lights. So this is for pure aesthetics. No performance increase here, no volume or sound increase or anything. This is really just if you built a real nice computer, if you have a side window on your case, or maybe a big fan mount there where you can see inside. You want to light things up so people can look in and admire the tight wiring job you've got going on, or just all the high-end parts and components that you've installed. And there you go. And now we have some glow sticks to insert into the case, either along the side, possibly along the bottom, wherever you want it nice and lit up. Those are fun. All right, so that has been our multi-product review of lots of different add-ons and accessories that you can include in your home PC. Again, that can provide either aesthetic, performance, or functionality improvements. using a lot of the open space that generally is not used in a lot of home computers. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. If you'd like links to any of these products, please check the description for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Newegg TV.